one. Boom, what's up everyone? Welcome to Simulation. We are very excited to be talking about technology for human flourishing. And we have an epic guest with us today to talk about this, Andrew Murray Dunn, AKA Ava Rose. What's up?
Thanks for having me. This is so fun.
Thanks for coming on to the show. Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
This can be a lot of fun. We got a lot to unpack about this. It's kind of coming at a really important time with the attention economy being criticized and under the sort of, there's a lot of issues with it. Yeah. Okay, and let's unpack. You know, we'll get to some of the ethical tech and tech for human flourishing stuff. I want to start with this because you came in here and you kind of dropped some interesting life trajectory onto me about you, and so you said that, you know, you were playing around with gender fluidity and a new name, Ava Rose, and you just come back from Burning Man, and there's like, unpack this for us first. Let's get to know you, and then we'll also get to know what you're building as well.
Yeah, thanks for asking about it, because I find I have a lot to share, having gone on this journey. And this is such a funny forcing function for me to actually make some decisions about who I want to be publicly. So yeah, I have been trying to connect with a more true expression of myself over the last couple of years through mindfulness and other consciousness expanding technologies. And a series of interesting events transpired to make me feel comfortable asking the question, where do I feel like I am on this spectrum of gender identity and gender expression, also sexual orientation, and, you know, this gender unicorn layer cake thing that is just not really on the menu when we're growing up, but now with trans movement, women's empowerment movements, talk of civilizational imbalances between masculine and feminine, there's just a lot more awareness of, you know, these different energies that we all have. And so, yeah, I've just been trying to figure out, like, where am I, what feels good? And at Burning Man, this new name came to me because I kind of felt like my older identity was dissolving and something new was emerging in its place. Whoa. And what do I call that? And so Ava Rose came through pretty instantly. I was thinking about what would be symbolic. So Andrew is inspired by my Hebrew name, Avraham. So Ava was a derivative of that. Rose is my grandmother's name. So I thought it'd be cool to honor the female lineage in addition to my surname, which is obviously male. Yeah. And yeah, it sounded really sweet, and so I've been playing with it, and I'm really lucky to be living in this time and in this place where I feel really safe. I acknowledge that it's not the experience of most people. Yeah. But yeah, it's really cool how, yeah, this journey has taught me a lot about, you know, social systems and empathy for others, and it's really a great gift to be able to share that with others and inspire them.
So what does it feel like, kind of surfing through that spectrum to find where you're at?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things you can play with, you know, like how I'm dressed, mannerisms, voice, things like pronouns, name. I think for me it's been really important to meet other people in the LGBT community and understand their experiences and their stories. And then, yeah, to step into these different expressions. Like, self-expression has always been a big edge for me, getting out of my head and into my body. Yeah. So in a way, it's like the universe giving me a big slap in the face with a bunch of reasons to start doing that. And that's been really wonderful. You know, I wasn't going to dance classes. I wasn't, I just wasn't doing some of the same things in my day-to-day existence that I am doing now, which are providing me with access to more body wisdom and more understanding of what it's like to be female in this world. A little bit. Yeah. That's so, I'm so curious because, you know, we just hosted Women in Alliance on Friday, and we had this really powerful female panel that we had, and we were talking about exactly what you were mentioning earlier with this whole civilizational kind of figuring out how the feminine rising and how that's changing and transitioning civilization. And so, you know, at times I definitely feel like I am just this, you know, bundle of like loving and just more closer to the heart energy. And but I'm curious, like, what does that mean, that
I'm not 100% male because I guess, you know, how does one figure that out? That how do you feel about that?
Well, first, kudos for acknowledging that, and it sounds like you feel kind of good about that.
Yeah.
That side of you.
Yeah.
I'm still figuring it out. Like, this stuff is complicated. I'm still trying to figure out, like, you know, in the spiritual communities, there's masculine, feminine energies, Shakti, Shiva, Yin, Yang, but then we have more societal constructs about what it means to be male, female, or what things are considered masculine or feminine. In general, yeah, I mean, I didn't know about, like, this gender binary that we have. Well, I was living in it, I was swimming in it, but I didn't know that it was a thing that we kind of impose on others, because if you're assigned male at birth, it just comes with all this baggage. If you're assigned female at birth, all this baggage. And it hasn't really been an option on the menu for young people to really explore the in-between. But nature is infinitely complex, and I think that it's a really cool thing that because of social media, because of community building that can happen over the internet, we're now able to see more expressions of what's possible, so people can, you know, they're now able to be what they can now see. And I think that is promoting more acceptance in some places, maybe not others. But yeah, I think it's all good, because what we'll get into later with this tech for flourishing, we have a pretty homogenous group of people creating tech, and it's gotten us to amazing places. And I like to ask, what would more balance look like? If we're creating from a more heart-centered place, could we have products that really nourish the soul and serve the whole with real regard for long-term consequences? And you know, I don't have the answers to those either, but I feel like where the masculine feminine is like such a major civilizational divide. And there's this amazing story, I think it's a Baha'i story.
Baha'i?
Baha'i.
Yeah, which is what again? That is?
It's a religion.
Yeah, in Asia, in like Indian area?
I believe it started in the Middle East, but
in the Middle East,
I'll admit my ignorance around
Me too,
Baha'i history.
Okay.
The story is that the bird of humanity has been flying with only its masculine wing for the last 2,000 years.
That's an interesting way to put it, yeah.
And that wing has gotten so strong, aggressive, and exhausted. And because we've only been flying with one wing, we've been going in circles. We keep forgetting stuff. We keep, you know. Now the feminine wing is starting to express itself, realize its strength, which is allowing the masculine wing to rest, so the bird of humanity can soar.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah. That inspires me. I feel like.
Oh, wait, that came from Baha'i?
That's what my Google search results showed.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I like talking about these analogies like that. But the feminine wing's been doing like a tremendous amount of work, especially with raising children and providing. So there's been an interesting sort of. But I hear how the masculine one's been beating in terms of just growing civilization in especially in the ways of business and technology, which have caused a lot of the, oh look, we haven't slowed down and thought about tech for flourishing. We're more so concerned with money, shareholder
capitalism,
capitalism, which in a sense. You can't also, the imperialistic tendencies of nation states are also something to be concerned about, because if you don't follow a capitalistic paradigm, you can get conquered, which is also kind of, you know, there's a nuance to this equation.
It's complicated.
And just like, you know, how you feel right now. And I'm still so interested in just that notion of, you know, when a child is born into the world, if they're given these options and they're given the ability to explore, you know, gender fluidity and just a spectrum of how they feel, that seems to be very important. But it can also seem to be at times potentially like it could lead them into something that they may not be. And then they might have to figure that out later.
Yeah, I'm no parenting expert, but from the little bit of developmental psych I know, it seems like it's important that parents allow their children to express themselves. And not to be so forceful about which direction that goes in, and not to you know, reprimand them for trying to do so.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I don't know. I think nature wants to express itself.
Nature
and we're part
does
of nature,
want to express
so we should
itself.
let it flow.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, evolution doesn't have a stopping function. There's a continuous growth function in evolution, and we're so ignorant about all of the nuanced evolution. How are we ever going to be able to figure out everything that goes into this equation? Hopefully we'll figure it out, everything.
Working on it.
Working on it, yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's move into the conversation about tech for human flourishing. I just want to end that portion by saying it's really epic to be here with you at your moment of transition from Andrew Murray Dunn to Ava Rose, and you're on your Saturn return right now, which is this astrological sort of understanding of planetary energy and celestial body energy, and it's an honor to be here with you as you explore your fullest self, I do I do wonder the whole 7 years you become a new person thing. I wonder how, changing a name, how that we're stuck with this one name for 90 years or whatever. So I wonder, what would it be like to change a name every 7 years and all this different kind of stuff.
It's a huge opportunity. I coincidentally was doing this inner critic exercise a couple of weeks ago where I was listing out all the things that my inner critic tells me, like, you're not a good listener, you don't learn fast enough. And then I just had the thought, what if I flipped that and said, like in the affirmative, Ava's a great listener, Ava learns quickly, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And that gave me like a great roadmap for who I want to be. So yeah, it's really funny to think about pivoting one's identity, to use startup terms, as I'm in the pivot of a business too.
Yep.
But in a way, it's, I think business and personal, especially in the leadership position, like they're mirrors for each other. And so it's really cool to see how I'm growing along with how the business is evolving. And the business is just an expression of who I am and what I value, all my fears and biases. And so, then it's like I get on this whole like transformative work I'm trying to do to better myself so I can make a better product that actually helps people. And lots swirling around these days.
Yes. I like how you made it clear the way that you kind of communicate with yourself. A lot of people can get stuck in a sort of, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. But there's also another way to look at things, which is that, hey, like where I'm at right now is where I'm at with the resources that I have, and that I want to do better, and this is how I can do better. And there's this other mentality of like keeping a sort of moment-to-moment bliss or ecstasis on just life and living.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Tech for flourishing. Yes. Let's do the name change. I thought you had maybe already done that. Yeah. All right. For the call. So we have we're going to transition from the featuring Andrew Murray Dunn.
I'm nervous.
To Ava Rose. There it is. Yes.
Cool.
It's like the first. Yeah. It's like the first sort of. The first step in seeing it. And this is another thing. I was wondering how one would handle this in terms of social accounts. Just the fact that you've already poured years into these social accounts, and now you're changing names, which means you have to, change social accounts in many of these settings. Yeah. And that's more years of growth. How do you tell your followers? How do you tell your parents?
Right.
And then, what if you want to, we were talking about changing it again every 7 years or whatever. It's like, how do you handle that?
I'll let you know. I don't know, but I'm not too worried about it. I think maybe a few years ago I might have been attached to like how I'm controlling the messaging. Yeah. And how I communicate to my people. Yeah. And maybe what people would think about it, but I don't know. Like
just not as attached.
It's one life.
To it anyway. One life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so interesting.
It's in service of my growth and the work I'm doing, and inspiring and influencing others. So.
Okay, and let's talk about that. So now we're at, how long has Siempo been around?
Siempo's been around about 3 years, and now we're going through our third pivot. It started as a minimal feature phone. Yep. Then it was a mindful smartphone. then it was a humane smartphone interface, and now we're launching a space race to build what is an enlightened operating system.
I love it. Okay, yeah. So let's unpack, because Siempo, when you were going to University of Pennsylvania, and you're going to Wharton, which is the business school, doing economics.
I didn't learn anything about economics, but that was my degree.
Business, and is it more business then?
Yeah,
Is what you're learning about mostly?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, business school.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting, yeah, degrees in econ. I didn't learn anything about econ. It's this classic sort of collegiate process.
Well, it's a gift now because I don't understand the conventional wisdom. I just focus on like my intuition and discernment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a whole separate conversation about collegiate degrees and stuff. So when did it strike you that you wanted to do tech for Flourishing? Did it strike you in university, or did it strike you when you came out here? And what pulled you out here?
So a year after I graduated, I was living in India, working with a friend on a business. And I didn't go to India for any spiritual growth or anything. I just had the opportunity to see the world. And I had my first night without Wi-Fi. And that might sound trivial, but it was the first night in a decade, because I'm a millennial. I got my phone at 12 and computer in my room and stuff. And I really felt like it was a decade of hypnosis by technology. And
you didn't go a day without it?
Yeah, probably not.
Not that you remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I was really hooked on social media, on messaging.
How many of us are like
dating.
that? Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was traveling by myself, and I found myself in a town I'd never heard of that day with no Wi-Fi and just a notebook and a book I'd picked up. And it was just like a decade of that jumping through hoops and go, go, go and socialization, like just came to a stop. Yeah. And it was just like, whoa, like, what am I? Who am I? What have I been doing? And like, why have I been doing it? And I felt so high on life for a week. I was so much more clear and creative and present and just like inspired and motivated to, I don't know, to be more, to rise to the fullest expression of what I could be. And that was about 5 years ago. And so I kind of traced that moment back to my personal journey, because I started just questioning more things and being more intentional and trying to live my truth. And I was really trying to figure out better habits to build healthier relationships with my devices and apps. Awesome. And found it really hard because there were just a few productivity apps at the time. No one was really talking about this, so I was just testing a bunch of things and manual processes, trying to set up my systems for success. And nothing was really working too well. I was making incremental changes, but it became a very iterative process, long-term process, because new technologies come in. Like dating apps weren't that popular until that time, and then Snapchat wasn't popular, and then so on. So I came back to the States. I was working for some other tech companies, and it was very clear that when I was away from my phone, in the shower, on a hike, at a festival, I was so much more alive. So I just kept coming back to, man, how could we balance the power of these things with how they can enrich our lives? And I wound up leaving that company and started working on a wearable. It was a ring that would let you record voice notes when you were away from your devices, so you could get those nuggets of wisdom down, ideas, recommendations, whatever.
And I love that idea.
Yeah, like
such a huge fan of that idea.
Thanks.
Because that's one of the only reasons why I'm attached to my device, because I love taking notes.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, of the ideas, because I want to keep them. I don't want them to flow away.
Right, and you come back to them, and then they manifest, they connect.
Yeah, exactly.
So it could be an amazing tool.
That's great.
And
photo is also nice, because you can document visually as well. But
yeah,
throw a little tiny camera on it.
It was fun to play with the form factor and see what we could squeeze in. Anyways, I by chance wound up at a hardware meetup one night, and I had chickened out of karaoke the previous night. So this night I was like, okay, I'm gonna go up there and pitch this, because I need to. And so I did, and then this other guy was pitching a mindful phone, and our stories sounded kind of similar. So it was kind of this love at first sight type thing, because I hadn't met anyone else who was thinking critically about this humane tech type stuff. And so he started giving me some side projects, and eventually I joined their team full time. I was just more inspired by what they were doing. They had some funding, so I joined them. we were doing a Kickstarter campaign to validate if this hardware path for the mindful smartphone made sense. And we got a lot of buzz, but the switching costs were just super high for people to leave their iPhone for this brand new thing that no one's tried or endorsed.
Yeah.
And the request was like, hey, I would definitely try and pay for a software version of this. Can you do that? And it turns out on Android, we can do pretty much anything.
Yeah.
So it was a clear pivot. And the process, the existing co-founders, they've been working on this for a couple of years, and they scaled back their involvement, and I came into the leadership role.
Yep.
And so the last year has been spent figuring out, like what does a better smartphone interface look like that supports our mental health and well-being, respects our time and attention, our nervous system. And so we've basically taken a behavior design approach to figure out how we would design the interface to reduce overuse, reduce unconscious use, and help you feel better about your device. And so we launched that about 6 months ago, and it's been crazy because it's kind of like a Silicon Valley episode. It's like, crazy press, like run out of money, like someone leaves the company, like crazy opportunity happens. It's been all over the place. And
that is the roller coaster of entrepreneurship. I love it.
Yeah,
you just described it so perfectly. All of those different things going on in short periods of time.
Yeah, it's an adventure.
And damn, that's interesting that you ended up taking the leadership as it pivoted towards software.
Right.
And I think the software pivot was a brilliant idea. It's really difficult to get people to want to switch hardware.
Yeah.
So as you pivot to software then, I love the things that you listed, especially the decreasing unconscious use.
Yep.
We don't even realize when we open up our phone that we're pushed notifications that have been sitting there waiting for us to open up the phone so that they can lure us into the apps.
Yeah.
Because that's how they make money.
Yeah.
Is when we get in, then we see the ads, and they make money.
Yeah.
It's just an insane process, and like you were describing earlier, the attention, the nervous system. It's just we're being, how do we take these things back with software like Siempo?
Yeah, I don't think there's a silver bullet. We certainly don't claim to be.
Yeah.
So it's great that there's a whole ecosystem of developers that are poking at this from different angles. I think that we were the first to really take this complete solution that meets people where they're at. No one else has done an interface on Android until we did, and now there's a couple new ones out there. And yeah, it really gives us the opportunity to reimagine every part of the user experience, from the lock screen to the notification delivery to what happens if you're in an app that you have decided is one you want to use less. We can do really cool things to augment what the screen looks like, and basically help you to
So let's show some of this. Should we show a couple more slides before we show?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what the home screen looks like. And the home screen, again, is just like you set an intention, you maybe add an emoji, you're constantly, brought back to this screen.
Yeah.
And there's not just a flurry of apps on the home screen.
Yeah, it's ludicrous that you would see a vending machine of corporate logos.
Vending machine of corporate
every
logos.
time you open your phone 150 times a day.
Yeah.
That's like, why would one submit to that? But that's the default. And so we believe that there are more skillful things that you could see. So our home screen doesn't allow those icons. And we prompt you to enter an intention, something that would be skillful for you to be reminded of. And there's a bunch of other things that we plan on doing with this home screen. But like in terms of cognitive real estate, this is really freaking important. Many people are spending hours a day on this thing.
Yeah.
And so there's a real opportunity, at least what I'm inspired by is that 85% of the world has Android phones, right? So it's like billions of people. And if we can influence what that home screen and what that interface experience looks and feels like, we can really help people live better. And I don't claim to know exactly how to do that, but I think I
love how humble you
doing
are.
a lot. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I think we're trying. We make a strong effort to have different voices in the room. More than half our cap table is women, people of color, LGBTQ.
Awesome.
I spend a lot of my free time trying to understand different ways of knowing. So we're not just trying to solve this problem in the same consciousness, but we're really trying to integrate science, contemplative, even business. Psych, energy healing. Some of the features are inspired by that.
Yes.
So there's just all this wisdom available.
Totally.
And I really feel my job is to be this great discernment filter. and that's really fun. So
imagine if the larger technology companies took into account that multidisciplinary approach to adding spirituality to Twitter or Facebook. It would just change things so much. So you brought up this very fascinating point, right, when you launched into cognitive real estate. Yeah, we use these things 150 times a day. That's an average. It's insane. And then currently with a lot of what I'm writing about neural real estate, the limitation in real estate that we have. So you get to pick what you want to fill it with every single day. And depending on that, that's what's going to compound over time. That's who you're going to become.
Yep.
So you're like a vending machine of corporate icons. I thought that was a very interesting way to put it. If your unlock screen, if your home screen, the first page is a flurry of icons, that is going to be who you become. If your home screen is a beautiful photo with an intention of maybe pause for a deep breath, you may decrease the amount of times you access a phone from 150 a day to maybe 100 a day. And you may also take a second thought at, oh, now that my Facebook or Instagram apps are not right there on the homepage, maybe I didn't need to go there. Maybe I should go outside and take some breaths and enjoy some fresh air and talk to someone because I see these beautiful trees or a bird or water or something else on the home screen.
Yeah, we can intervene in so many different places, as we'll see in the next demos.
All right. Yeah, let's pull up the next. Yeah.
That's what's so cool about this. Everyone now has these supercomputers in their pocket, and they could be used for our objectives, but they're mostly engineered for corporate objectives. So we're really just, there's like so much attention is flowing. Like right now it's mostly, if the average person spends 5 hours a day on these things, which is nuts, it's like a third of their waking lives.
Yeah.
And it's
is that actually right?
There's a problem with statistics in this space, so there's a whole range, but yeah, I've heard that number several times.
Yeah, especially because most people work on a computer all day now, and so because of that as well, most people in the tech sector at least, and so because of that, that's at least 8 hours.
Yeah, more than half of your waking life, right? Yeah. So consumers are waking up and realizing, oh wait, I don't know if I want those 5 hours to be on the same like 3 companies, like Facebook, YouTube, whatever. So there's a whole bunch of people looking for tools and looking for places to put that attention instead. And one of the things that we're hopeful about is that in the time and space we free up for people, we can help them develop healthier habits around self-compassion, mindfulness, human connection, and we can connect them to really amazing services, proprietary or partners, that are able to basically help people with what they're looking for. Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool, and then things can move really fast.
Yeah. This is also an extremely important feature. I was describing this. We'll show everyone a demo as well in just a little bit as we go through these features. But this sort of notion that you can be pushed a notification whenever the app wants. This is no longer when Ron messages me, I get the notification. But this is when I open up my phone after maybe a period of 30 minutes and I see that there was that message there, I might swipe it away. Then Facebook or Gmail might see the fact that you're on your phone, and then they will send you a push notification saying that, oh, you got this message. I'll be like, I just swiped that away. I know you're trying to lure me into using the service. Yeah. So here you can actually batch your notifications every 30 minutes, every hour, once a day.
Like the mail.
Like the mail. Oh, damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah. No, otherwise you're letting a corporation schedule your thoughts. And most people don't think about that sense of agency that they're relinquishing in this social contract that has grown. But yeah, this is a no-brainer. We also let you VIP certain apps that could still get through. Like if you want your boss to be able to contact you or something like that.
Yeah, the VIP is important. Yeah.
It's just like we want the phone to be smart to your life, and it can be if it's designed so. But the design has to fit with the objectives at the top.
Yes.
Yes.
The principles, the principles, the value system, what you design it to want to do, rather than what the corporate interests design it to want for you to behave it with for monetary purposes.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll explore that and in the demo. Ronnie, let's move to the next one. So this is this is when you swipe one screen over from the home screen. This is what you get, which, as you can see, there are no corporate logos on this. Yeah. And so Maps goes to Google Maps, Transport goes to either like Uber, Lyft, whatever you want to set it to. Calendar goes to like Google Calendar. Payment can go to Venmo or whatever you want. And so when you click messages, it's interesting because then you can actually see all the different messaging apps. So you know, just then it's an extra click. But then then you don't see. That was great, Ron. And so okay, so yeah, do you want to unpack this a little bit more?
Yeah, you did a great job of summarizing it. We've unbranded and grayscaled all of the icons.
Grayscale too.
So you're less likely to get sidetracked on the way in or the way out of what you're doing.
Yes.
And less likely to pick up the cognitive load of seeing that you have a new Tinder match or a new email. And this is one tier of our 3-tiered menus. So we keep the tools, the utilitarian stuff closest. And then all the way on the third page is apps that you flagged for less use. So when you first onboard, and we'll show you in the demo, we'll recommend social media, news media, dating, gaming, video, because people cite that those are things that make them less happy with overuse. And so we have a whole bag of tricks there that we use. Basically the same tricks that marketers and behavior designers use to get you to do something and do it more and longer. We use those same tricks, but for the user.
For the well-being. For the well-being side of things, for what the user wants. You use those tricks. Actually, I was going to say, when do marketers grayscale and unbrand? Never. Everything is branding or, Okay, so, and then when let's go to the next one, Ron.
This one's better explained in the demo, but this is what I'm most proud of. I think this encompasses a lot of the ethos of Siempo. Did I tell you what Siempo means?
Siempo is always in Spanish?
Yeah. It's a play on siempre, always, and
siempre,
tiempo, time.
Oh, that's right. Siempre, always, tiempo, time.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that was the original meaning 2 years ago when we were thinking like always being mindful of the time you spend on things.
That's good.
And then I was
that's good.
I was in the desert a few weeks ago, and I don't know, at some point I was just like, okay, Siempo, what do you mean to me? Is there a deeper meaning? And it was so cool. It came within seconds. It was like, oh, duh. Tiempo is time, technology, the material, logical, mechanical, masculine. Siempre is always the infinite, love, feminine, intuitive. Siempo is about balancing those two energies, those two worlds. And I'm the embodiment of that. And I was like, done. Great. Moving on. Next meeting challenge.
Next meeting challenge.
So I'll show you this in person.
Okay,
IRL.
cool. And then Ron, do we have another one that we want to show before? Yeah, should we show this one before?
Yeah. So this is just kind of to explain. I mean, we struggle with explaining like, what is Siempo? Is it a layer, an operating system, a skin? A lot of people in the Bay Area, at least, don't really understand how the Android ecosystem works. But because Android is an operating system that is given out to all these hardware manufacturers with nuanced specs, Android allows the hardware manufacturers to make their own interface. So the Samsung interface is slightly different from the LG, from the Pixel, and that also means that third-party developers can tinker too. And so there have been some productivity-oriented ones and like a Hello Kitty type phone. Facebook actually had the opportunity to make a Facebook phone, but they put the newsfeed on the lock screen, which was too invasive for
They did put the newsfeed on the lock screen. I remember using Facebook Home.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I remember using that.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for reminding me about that.
5 years ago. It was a brilliant idea. They just, it was too much.
It was full screen. Full screen. It was like a home screen. Full home screen was your Facebook. It was nuts. And each post was like a whole. It was crazy. I'm glad you brought that up because they did have an opportunity, like you said. Imagine if like YouTube or Twitter tried taking over your home landing page.
Yeah. I mean, this is like a PSA. I hope some companies try this. Like, I think the meditation apps have a really great opportunity. And when we open source our code, like they'll just be able to do that. Like if
Calm or Headspace would be your homepage.
Right. And yeah, they would be able to elevate their content for the user. So it would create a much more loyal, like engaging experience and deprioritize all the candy, the junk food.
Yes, yes.
So like basically Siempo plus one of those things
would be really powerful.
I feel like there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah. This is a really important point that I just want to make sure people got, is that Android over time has enabled you to tinker with the OS, the Android operating system, in terms of just being able to put like a skin on top of the OS, like what Samsung or LG does for their for how they put something on top of the Android OS. For example, with Siempo is able to come in on top of Android and put the skin on top on the homepage, versus with Apple doesn't give you that ability. Apple, you can't just load up another where you click the home button and you're not on the normal iOS.
We can't do any of this stuff on iOS, and it sucks. I mean, it sucks for consumers. It
does.
Sucks for this passionate developer ecosystem that's extremely innovative and mission-driven. Apple doesn't let us exist, or it really limits the amount that we can help people. Apple's even starting to kick some of us out of the App Store because they seemingly want to control the narrative here. Because, I mean, basically, like, and the existence and the success of an app like ours on the App Store is validating the harms that the device is having on people. And yeah, it's a bummer, but like these companies have the cash to launch a space race, a Manhattan Project, to figure out how to create a better relationship with tech.
Yeah.
But they're not, because there's no incentive. It's not great for business, at least not yet. It might be over time, 5-10 years.
Totally.
Maybe faster. I hope so.
Maybe that's a good X Prize model. We should talk to Naveen Jain and Demandis, and we should talk to them and push them for an ethical tech X Prize.
Oh yeah,
like $1 million one, and to see if we can put more pressure onto Facebook and Google and Apple and say that make more moves in this direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which you are doing yourself, because this is now becoming open source as well.
Yeah. So basically, what we decided over the summer. So Apple and Google launched a few features to help people manage screen time. And it's very small, but it's a step in the right direction.
Yep.
A lot of people feel it's just to appease the PR pressure and shareholder pressure.
Yeah.
But it spooked a lot of the investors we were talking to. And already we're really discerning about the types of people we want to accept money from. And that's a very small pool of people who are thinking a little bit differently about capital and about impact. But yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the investors that we were building rapport with, they're intimidated by Apple and Google getting into this space. Rightfully so. So I kind of felt like I could brute force the next 100 meetings. That's the conventional wisdom, just like, get through it and get some money. But I was like, you know what? I've been working really hard on this a year and a half. I could use a little slowing down, living the mission, taking time for myself, going on a meditation retreat, getting into nature, stuff like that. So that's what I did this summer. And it led to some explorations into some tangentially related areas, the conscious investing and social justice lens, and this digital wellness warriors community, which I can talk about later. And then what kind of came through was like, maybe we're not serving this collective mission the best by being a for-profit siloed company that raises dollar by dollar and gets user by user, one by one. Like, what's a bigger theory of change here that is in line with the ethos and our values of Siempo? And so I don't know anything about open source, but I've been learning. And it seems like there's real opportunity to basically put this code out there and invite a growing community of motivated developers and designers, researchers who really want to work on projects like this. They want to work in service of this mission, but there's no jobs because there's so little funding for this type of stuff.
Yep.
But we've built a really high integrity brand and team and product over the last 3 years of writing about this and talking about it. So I want to collaborate with those people and really, basically launch this space race, figure out like all the different possibilities, prototype those, and show the bigger companies, Apple, Samsung, LG, Google, et cetera, what's possible. And so they can just imitate them. And then voila, success. Now the stuff that we created with the ecosystem is on everyone's phone by default. And 5 billion people have healthy relationships with technology and can live and work and love from that place instead of a more like fear, heightened nervous system, hijacking attention space. And so that's what I'm exploring, trying to figure out how to pull it off. But it feels right, and I don't know, super it goes.
Yeah, you need another high five.
Yeah,
you definitely need.
I'm trying.
Yeah,
but not too hard. You know, also just
Yeah.
like trusting in the flow of things,
Yes.
and you know, going. I feel supported, and there's no rush, and there's urgency. You know, it's a paradox.
That's the paradox, exactly. Okay, so you brought up a couple of really important points there. One that I think is right before we go to demo is the open sourcing of everything. As you open source everything, first of all, you're going against the paradigm of the investor, dollar by dollar, user by user mentality. We had Christine Peterson on the show from Foresight Institute, who was given the sort of accreditation for coining open source. And so, when we were talking to her about it, we were definitely very excited about just this huge influx of like good and positivity and just kind of like this heart energy that comes into things when you open source it versus the idea of like closed off IP mentality. And there's this whole thing between the US and China and IP and the theft and like what's going on. And so when you come down to open sourcing and being able to get this community of engineers and designers and ethical tech peeps that get involved in it, like you said, you're going to have a space race for tech for flourishing, and then that's going to really push 5 billion people into the door, and that's amazing. And I love that mission, 100% behind you and behind Tristan and the Time Well Spent movement and the other people at the forefront of this. We desperately need this. And we're actually, we're hosting an event on November 15th on ethical tech.
Oh, cool.
And you should definitely be one of our.
I'll be there.
You should be one of our panelists, though.
Yeah.
Okay. You should be one of our panelists.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. It's no time to think small. Like. We gotta figure it out in this lifetime.
Yeah.
And
we're hosting an event on this, on the attention economy, on the nervous system side of things, on all these different things. Thank you for the warning, Ronnie, on our timer. All right. Let's whip out the tech.
Cool.
All right. So. Go ahead and plop down here. Take a seat with us because you're going to walk us through this.
Yep.
And we're going to get a zoom. You got us good, Ron? Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so here's the home screen. So we set our intention to love with a couple cute emojis. And so, when you open up, that's how you move over to the screen that we were showing you guys earlier.
Yeah, honestly, we did a pretty good demo before. Here's where you can customize the intention, and here's where you can batch your notifications, so you can decide they come all the time, every 15, 30, top of the hour.
This part's super important. You can select only at one time, so like late
or 2 or 3,
or like later on in the day. I only want to see it one time or 2 times, 3 times. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, my CTO loves that one.
Yeah, that was so good.
And then, we have these menus, first screen, other frequently used apps. And then this is cool. This is that third page. So these are apps that on onboarding we recommend, and you can add or remove ones. So And if they're on this page, one, you'll notice the contrast is lower because light-dark contrast is more important to the brain, to attentional processing in the brain. See where Snapchat is now? Every time you come back to this page, oh no. That's a coincidence. Snapchat will be in a different location.
So there's a random number generator that sorts the apps in a new way, so that way they're not in the same place.
Correct. So your thumb doesn't habituate to it.
Your thumb doesn't habituate to it. Oh my gosh. Imagine, every time you go to the home screen, that on your home screen where you have that what did you call it? A vending machine of corporate logos. Your thumb has habituated to going to that area. So even if you're done using your phone, you'll still habituate to going to Instagram or whatever because it's
Yeah, it's accessible. So that's the whole thing with behavior design. We work with BJ Fogg's behavior grid behavior model.
We love them.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic! Yeah,
and they're near the Stanford Habit Lab as well, which made that app on Chrome, which kind of does the same.
Check that out.
Yeah,
it's all about manipulating the ability, triggers, and motivation. So you come to this page, and we've lowered your ability to easily get to the app you wanted to. We're motivating you with your intention.
At the top, the intention stays there. Yeah,
we're reminding you of it. Yeah. And there's some cool stuff we can do, showing it in other places throughout the UI.
Yeah.
And then triggers. See this bar that's on here?
Yeah.
So no one's ever done anything like this before, but this is a screen cover where we're showing you in real time how much time we're spending on it. And we're also offering you alternative options like opening your notes app or opening your meditation app.
Interesting.
And this will grow with every minute and start to take up more of your screen. And you can still use it, and you can move this thing around so you can type and whatever. But eventually it just gets to fill up half the screen. Oh, it also sends messages along the way. Like inside of the screen cover, it'll prompt you to reflect on how you're feeling, remind you of your intention, yada yada.
It will send little messages as well.
They'll just appear. They won't
they'll appear.
Come in like a notification. But the point is, like, we are instead of what other apps do, which is put a notification like get off this now, you've exceeded your limit, like a very forceful and kind of masculine approach. We're taking a more gentle, gradual. Here, see, it's at 57.
So it's going to increase in size.
It's going to increase. Hey, there you go.
Oh, look at that. That's a big increase.
You can split it. You can move it down. You can rotate it.
Oh, you can. Oh, wow. That's quite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that Android really lets you put that skin on top, and that's huge.
There's so much we can do with this, and as a behavior design tool, our hypothesis is this is a lot more effective at getting you to do the thing you want to do than a notification. And I mean, I just want to rehash the point
because everything is a notification now. So that if you're at least different from a notification, that's a huge part of it.
Exactly.
I like how you have notes and wellness up as well.
Yeah.
So what we should also. So let's go to. Let's say we do want to pull up. Okay, so you can pull up your notes.
Yeah.
You can go back. So is there something else that we should show? Here, that was pretty.
There's a couple other small things, but those are the main things for now. This is our beta, and I just want to rehash that.
And getsiempo.com, links in the bio. Go download it and check it out.
Yep.
Android only. Yep.
Android's the platform for people who care about this, whether as a consumer or a developer. We're really grateful that we have the opportunity to use our imagination and creativity and actually innovate. Apple, unfortunately, we've tried to figure out a way to have a better access to developer permissions, but
out of all of the smartphone market, 85% of it is Android across the world.
Yeah.
So then there's that's a majority of users.
Yeah. Imagine the next billion people on the internet leapfrogging the attention economy.
Leapfrogging the attention economy.
And
I love that.
Being empowered with tools to be a superhuman.
I love that. Yeah.
So we're
other things we want to show on here?
Those are the main.
Those are the main ones. Cool.
Yeah.
Everyone, check out Ciempo. Getsiempo.com. If you have an Android phone, Android tablet, go and check it out. Get it downloaded. Even if you don't, go and sit down with your friend that has one, and go and download Ciempo from the Play Store and go and test it. Go and play with this. Realize what is going on and how you can make things better by trying things like this and better understanding the control mechanisms that are going on underneath of how we use these devices and how we can take control of our lives through these devices, through the software like this that goes on top of it. Yeah.
And if you want to work on this project, get in contact with me, Andrew@ciempo.co, SIEMPO.co.
Yep. Andrew@ciempo.co, soon to be Ava@ciempo.co.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I've never heard that. That feels better.
Good.
Yeah.
That's so amazing to see that in action and to feel you working on this. And I love your visions. I love the way that you're imagine the next billion people leapfrogging the attention economy. The next billion people that get on smartphones should not have to deal with the attention economy.
No.
I love that vision. That's what makes me get up in the morning. You know, these are the types of quotes that get me up in the morning. Because it's really easy to get up in the morning and to look at your device and be like, we are so screwed. We are stuck in the attention economy forever. You know? And then there's the other way of waking up in the morning and being like, the next billion people are not going to have to deal with this. I love that. It makes me want to get up in the morning. It makes me, you know, happier. It makes me want to get more conscious angels behind Siempo. So, okay, let's talk about this on the way out. Is there another, Ron, was there another image at the end that we want to? Okay, banner thing. It's a banner of kind of what we went through, and then is there one more, or is it just the videos last, right?
It's a video.
Okay. So let's unpack the digital wellness warriors and conscious angels on the way, because these are also in the Wharton Wisdom. These are also things that you're building simultaneously. So, excuse me. So, right now we have a lot of people that work in the technology sector that are not focused on digital wellness. That is not their priority to understand. You were just talking about taking a break and going to meditation or going to nature or taking time for you. How do we get more people to realize that taking time for you is so crucial?
Yeah, I really feel that's the $1 trillion question. You know, some people say, like, how do we wake up the world? How do we, meet people where they're at? How can we use these tools not just to de-stress, but really be a door to inner work? And I love that question. Like, I would love to continue talking about it. I think it's really curious that you have a lot of tech leaders, investors, people in Hollywood starting to look for these experiences to improve themselves and recondition themselves, and start to spread that wisdom and really show what's possible. Like when someone becomes more kind and compassionate and centered, it rubs off. It
totally does.
I think that really seeing people transform is a better way than having HR say, hey, we now have a Headspace subscription, everyone do it now. And then maybe 1% of people try it and get into it, and then, okay, they're de-stressing, but now what? But it's hard, personal growth is a lifelong thing. But I feel like there's more and more on-ramps. People are finding them through things like Burning Man, through meditation. People are pissed about the administration. People are inheriting money from boomers at ever increasing rates. There's just all these trends that are kind of intersecting, and I feel that, I wake up every day grateful to be alive in this time, having the privilege to work on projects in service of this Team Humanity, Spaceship Earth collective thing that we're all trying to we're all working in different departments trying to figure out how to make it work. And it's exciting.
You give me lots of hope.
Thanks.
I love that about you. You give me so much hope.
I got plenty. When it comes down to it, I've had untold privileges, and so I feel like I feel a strong sense of responsibility to figure out how to leverage those for social good. So a lot of the things that I'm creating are really expressions of that. It's like, oh, I went to this extremely resourced institution with influential alumni, and I've been embarrassed about that. I've wanted to hide that in the past, and now I'm like, wow, how can I use that power? And so I created an alumni community of people who are interested in personal growth and integrating that with their work in the world, partially to connect us, because I want to meet those people, because there's this weird thing about alumni where we feel we'll accept that LinkedIn connection and talk to you. But also I want to make it cooler for other people who are stuck in, sleepy jobs at, a bank or consulting firm or a big tech company or whatever, and are hungry for more. Deep down know that something's off and need permission and safe spaces to start exploring and consuming, and then be plugged in to, these departments that need help and money and other skills.
These are the people that are right there at the pull-up bar, and they're almost done their full pull-up, and you're just giving them that little boost up with digital wellness, conscious boost, angels,
open arms.
And
it's telling stories, new stories. Because the stories, if you go through a place like Wharton, are really strong. It can seem like there's nothing else that really matters.
And when do we see in news feeds, when do we see the digital wellness helping us make a pull-up? It's almost always fear, greed, war.
Yeah.
So,
totally.
so to have a little bit of digital wellness in our news feeds is also extremely important. I love your mentality of digital wellness warriors. There's so many different ways to tackle that. There's so many different variables that are going on there. It's a whole nother thing to unpack with you. And conscious investing, conscious angels. You're very careful about who you take money from. You're also careful about how to. We do this too. We talk to people a lot about where they're putting money and whatnot, and going into conscious investments is more important than anything else right now. That's how you guide civilization towards our collective goals, and less away from the self and the greed. And it's just, I think maybe the next evolution of social Darwinism is when we care more about the selflessness. We care more about the empathy. We care more about the collective rather than the self. That will be a very interesting sort of transition to discuss in terms of evolution.
Are you familiar with adult developmental theory and some of these frameworks for like human evolution?
What was the name again?
Adult developmental theory.
Adult developmental theory.
Yeah.
And who was it again? That
I don't know too much about it, but it's basically kind of what you're describing, like that capacity for empathy, for holding divergent viewpoints, and really being able to, like ability to remove yourself from the thoughts and feelings and stories, to think critically about them, and like not just like react. And so, we. Like the people creating our institutions and making decisions, creating our technology, are maybe somewhere on there, and now we're figuring out how we can like elevate that level.
Yes.
And so once we have more people creating stuff from that place, I think we have a lot more to be hopeful about, because technology can be an incredible agent of human flourishing, of civilization, democracy, what have you.
Yes, it can.
But it really matters, like, who's making it, who's funding it, how you're relating.
Core values and principles of the building process, how you're relating. Okay, let's ask you a couple of these quick questions on the way out.
Okay.
Do you think we're alone in the cosmos?
So I used to actually be really into aliens, UFOs, and stuff like that. It was the first book series I was obsessed with was called Area 51, that my dad and I were reading together. I used to. And then lately, I feel like I've heard more and more scientists sharing with me their ideas about how maybe we're the first. And I kind of like that. And there's a few reasons why. Like, it was mostly a hydrogen universe for the first few billion years. We've directed SETI a bunch of places and heard nothing. The probability of like this species being able to escape the biosphere is like 1 in how many millions of species have been on planet Earth. So it's very possible we're the only ones, and that gives me just a lot of excitement for this moment in time, for this lifetime that I have the privilege to be in, and get to be where I am and working on the thing I am. It's like I feel like I get called to really play a leadership role in this bigger movement to like initiate into humanity's adulthout in a symbiotic relationship with the world and everything. And it's like. And I think it's possible, but like you were kind of alluding to before, the predominant stories about, ethical tech, it's all about reducing harm. I don't think we're telling enough stories about the positive impacts of the positive effects of technology that are possible. And I'm guilty of that too. And I feel like this is an interesting way in which Siempo's evolution and mine have been in parallel, where most of what we do right now is about preventing the persuasive techniques of addicting apps. And limiting and reducing safety. There's some stuff that's aspirational, like the intention type stuff and wellness. But I'm really pumped to start leaning into more of that and telling more of a positive story that people can actually rally around. We need something to rally around. So I'm going to be that thing.
Okay, and then how about, do you think we are in a simulation?
No.
I think this is base reality.
What's that? Not a simulation.
Yeah.
I just don't know that term. Yeah, it's not something I thought about too much.
Yeah.
Like, my instinct is that no, but like how you define a simulation, like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because if everything happened from the Big Bang until now is a simulation, then we don't even know. But
yeah.
But okay, so you think this is real? This is base reality.
Yeah, it's real, but I think there's energies and forces beyond comprehension.
Totally.
And like if you call that design a simulation maker, then I might agree that we're in some sort of simulation. But you know, maybe in like the pop culture, like, you know, someone in the year 3000 who's like playing a game and like I'm the avatar. Like I don't feel that.
Don't feel that. Okay.
But then there's like retro causality time loops that are co-creating the past and the future at the same time, and so like maybe, but I just don't know enough about that stuff.
It's fascinating what exists outside the 3D and time. All this stuff's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Simulation theory. That's why we like to ask about it, hear people's opinions.
Yeah.
Last question, Ava.
Questions.
Last question. What do you think is the most beautiful thing in the world?
Oh man, I love sunsets. It's so cool to be in relationship with a star and experience the subtle textures of the environment changing and have that intimate moment with nature and self. Yeah, haven't seen one in a little while.
I love
but
how
Burning
you
Man, I
described
saw everyone,
it.
every sunrise, every
yeah.
sunset. Yeah, yeah.
I love how you described it. Yeah, that was really beautiful.
Cool.
Wow, what a great show on technology for human flourishing. Oh, it feels so good, you know. I feel so much. I feel so hopeful, you know. I feel really good, you know. I feel clean. I feel clean from the vending machine of corporate logos, you know. I feel really good away from that. I want to say thank you. Thank you so much, Ava. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you for talking to us and for teaching us. Ron, thank you, our producer-director. Thank you, everyone, for coming and for enjoying the show. Let us know what you think in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you, what you feel. We'd love to know and chat with you in the community. Also, check out that link in the bio for Get Siempo. Give it a download, give it a go, talk about it with friends. Let's reclaim our minds and our souls from this sort of vending machine of corporate logos and the attention economy infrastructure. So let's get talking about that and get building. As you guys know, go build with what you learned today. Go make blogs, go make videos, go make pictures, go make images, make businesses, go start things and create, make art, go make into the world. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Much love, and we will see you soon.
Much love. Yeah.